Mayor Ryan asked up the other night.
Shelly Brazen, yeah.
She lit
You
him
guys
up.
want to bunch up? Bunch up, bunch up, bunch up. Like over here.
Previously been placed on receivership by the state. The campaign for fiscal equity lawsuit says that the Hempstead schools are owed $57 million from New York State. That's not right. I have a son who has been through every charter school in Hempstead, and next year will most likely be attending a Hempstead public school. My greatest concern is that because of the lack of resources available to the students in Hempstead School District, my son will be placed on the fast track from the school to the criminal justice system. And that ain't right.
That ain't right.
We need New York State to invest fully in public education here in Hempstead and other black and brown school districts on the island. Now we will hear from Walter from Make the Road.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Walter. I am here for Make the Road Action. Where's Make the Road Action? We have membership. We have over 1,000 members here on Long Island and many more across the state. And we are here, incidentally, outside a school. And I'm wearing this t-shirt because we know that we are sick and tired of politicians and this administration that continues to say that every time we talk about the needs of our children in our schools, there's not enough money. There is not enough money when we ask for after-school programs. There is not enough money when we ask for more ESL teachers so that our children can learn English and speak multiple languages. There is not enough money for districts like Hempstead, like Brentwood, like Wyandotte, and so many other communities like Amityville, where I grew up, where we did not even have an ESL program when I was going to high school. And I saw my classmates struggling because they were all thrown into the special education classroom with students with all kinds of needs. And yet, every time there is another opportunity to criminalize our young people, suddenly the money appears. Suddenly there's always money to expand jails. Suddenly there's always money to send police officers to our schools when we still do not have books from this decade in many of our schools. Suddenly there's money for metal detectors. And suddenly there's money to expand more and more jails and more programs aimed at young people run by the police department, but there's no money for our organizations and the programs that we know we need. So that's why we're here today. In particular, we're here because I am an immigrant. I came to Long Island when I was 11 years old, and we are all being victimized, not just by our schools, by lack of investment there, in the criminalization of our youth of color, but now this industry, who is ever hungry to find ways to put our people behind bars and profit from it, is also focusing on criminalizing immigrants and putting children in warehouses like we're seeing at the border and putting children upstate New York in many detention facilities. That is why this t-shirt in the front says, "Schools, not jails," and in the back says, "Closed immigrant detention centers," because it is the same industry that is crippling our education system, and it's also crippling our immigration system. So more and more of people who look like all of us here today are ending up in jail. They are not setting up programs for our people, and that's why we're here. It gives me great pleasure to be introducing Jumaane Williams because he's been a great advocate. He comes from our communities. He understands the experience of young people of color across this state and across this country, where we feel like the odds are stacked against us. He's been a huge fighter for criminal justice reform, for our schools, and also for immigrants. He has been at the forefront of the fight to defend a great friend of mine who is facing deportation, who's an activist in New York City. He's been at the forefront and got arrested the day that they were trying to deport him. Also, my friend Robbie, who has been facing deportation also around the time when I was arrested by immigration and sent to a high security deportation center in upstate New York. And that is what they're doing with our young people. They are creating detention centers in upstate New York, arresting us here on Long Island in New York City and downstate and sending us up there. I experienced that, and that's why we need leadership that will be committed to creating opportunities for our young people, to creating dignified, empowering schools for our children and for our families. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome Jumaane. Let's give it up for Jumaane.
No more status quo. No more status quo. No more status quo. No more status quo.
No more status quo.
Thank you so much for having me out and for that great introduction. I think people like to talk about what their priorities are, but I like to look at the budget, and the budget will tell you where your priorities are. And if we look at the amount of money we spend on prisoners versus the amount of money we spend on students, it seems to me that prisons and criminals and criminalizing poor Black and Latino, usually young people, are where this state's priority is. I want to make sure that our communities don't get fooled by the smoke and mirrors of our Governor Andrew Cuomo. I'm supporting Cynthia Nixon. She's been working on these issues for 17 years. The governor has done nothing, absolutely nothing, to improve the lives of students in Hempstead. And I'm sorry to tell you, as I travel the state, it is the same thing over and over and over again in school districts, particularly poorer Black and brown school districts. As was mentioned, this school district is owed $57 million. I'm told that Long Island is owed $1 billion in money that was owed. This is from a judge that ordered this state to pay money that was owed. And in regular Cuomo fashion, he has been using deception to make it seem as he's doing what he's not. He often says that we spend more money than anywhere else in this country, although there may be some truth to that. However, we live in one of the most expensive states in this country, so it doesn't mean much, because you probably pay more for milk in this state than you do in most places in this country. That doesn't mean that we're doing the job we're supposed to be doing. He also talks about the amount of money we're spending now versus when he first came in, but what he doesn't tell you is that the previous governor and him cut the money that was being spent in the first place. So he's trying to restore the money that he cut and hasn't begun to return the money that was owed by the campaign for fiscal equity. We spend maybe $10,000 more per student, if not more, in areas that have more affluent residents than in areas that have less affluent residents. And that ain't right. This school, not jails, envelops everything that many of us on the True Blue wave are talking about. It is saying we have over-criminalized communities for far too long. We have allowed the people who benefit from over-criminalizing these communities to be in leadership for far too long. By the way, I'd like any reporters to look into the fact that the current governor received contributions from people who own the jails where our immigrants are being housed. There is a direct connection between the over-criminalizing, the underfunding of schools, and the leaders that we have today. And by the way, we don't have Donald Trump and the orange madness coming through the country trying to get to Hempstead because of Republicans. The extreme Republicans, the bigots, they voted for the person who was a bigot. We are here because of the lack of courage and the cowardice of Democrats like this current governor, who refuse to step up and step out and take risk and show vision. I'm running for lieutenant governor because while this governor was playing smoke and mirrors with our children's lives, Also, I'd love for the reporter to look at the Excelsior program that he says is a free tuition program, but only 3% of students are eligible. So 97% of students can't even get the free tuition program. We have a lieutenant governor who thinks the job is to remain silent while our young students are suffering and being paid from schools that are underfunded to jails who have all the funding in the world. I'm running for lieutenant governor because, as was mentioned, I put my body on the line to try to prevent someone from being deported, while the current lieutenant governor said they were proud to lead the fight against undocumented immigrants getting driver's license. The type of driver's license that have prevented so many people from getting detained by ICE. I'm running for lieutenant governor because many people know Chris Collins, who was just indicted, the first congressperson to endorse Donald Trump. But in 2012, the NRA, the National Rifle Association, endorsed Chris Collins' opponent because they believed his opponent would better serve the interests of the NRA and the corporations than Chris Collins. Does anybody know who Chris Collins' opponent was? His opponent was the current Lieutenant Governor, Kathy Hochul. These are the people who are leading this state. These are the people who have underfunded the students and the parents and the people behind me in the school district of Hempstead for the past, in Andrew Cuomo's case, 7.5 years. In the Lieutenant Governor's case, 3.5 years. These are the people that the school to prison pipeline is not being defended.
You have to leave sidewalk. Go to sidewalk. You go to school parking lot. I'm sorry.
I got you. I'm almost finished, bro.
Okay, 2 minutes. Right here, right now. You got to go to sidewalk.
I'm here to make sure.
Can y'all leave the property, please? You have to go to the sidewalk. Thank you.
That we have people who are running for office who will make sure that Hempstead is fully funded and shut down the school to
Take it to the sidewalk,
pipeline.
please.
Shut down
Thank you.
the school
Take it to the sidewalk,
Shut
please.
down
The
school to prison
pipeline.
Shut down
The school to prison pipeline.
Shut
Shut down
down
the school to prison pipeline.
Shut
Shut down the school to prison pipeline.
Shut down
The school to prison pipeline. Shut down the school to prison pipeline.
You won't see Andrew Cuomo here. You won't see Kathy Hochul here because you don't make millions of dollars. And those are the people that they speak to. We are going to show on September 13th that activist energy will defeat millionaire dollars. It's all good.
The sad part about it is that our community, our school district is owed $57 million. And instead of the district trying to work with the people, the district has the people fighting against the people. That's not all right. So come September 13th, make a conscious decision when you go to the poll. If you expect change, you have to vote to get the change that you expect.
Schools not jails.
Schools not